everyone. Welcome to Forget Me Not Radio, the podcast where we discuss taboo topics and other issues society would rather silence. My name is Amy Dommett, and I'm your host. Today, I sat down with Grace, a survivor and, in her words, a victor. I love it. After years of abuse at the hands of her father, Grace struggled with homelessness, self-worth, and forgiveness before she was empowered to be the woman that she was meant to be. She is an inspiration to so many with her cheerfulness and positive outlook. She's even gone on to create a nonprofit. It's a social media campaign right now called Lost But Not Forgotten, and she hopes to expand that in coming years to further support those who need help knowing that they are not alone. If you're not familiar with Forget Me Not Radio, you can visit our website, which is amydommett.com/podcast. There, you can learn about upcoming episodes and guests, as well as support this project financially through patreon.com or PayPal. It is through supporters like you that we are able to bring this podcast series to life. Subscribe to us on iTunes as well, and that way you can stay up to date with all the new episodes. And if you're already a subscriber, we would love to have your rating and review. Your feedback is important. It means something to us personally, and it helps others to find us. Thank you again for joining us today. I'm sure you're going to love my conversation with Grace, so stay tuned. I will see you on the other side. I am here with Grace. Hi, Grace. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Cool. I want you. I've already told everybody a little bit about why you're here and what you're here to share. But why don't you go ahead and share that? Tell us about it.
Definitely. As Amy said, my name is Grace, and I am a survivor. I'm a victor of domestic violence, the whole yard, sexually, physically, and emotionally, by someone that I trusted and loved dearly. And it happened during my teen years, and it was the hardest thing I have ever gone through in my life, and it's just like I wouldn't wish that on anyone, even my worst enemy. Being abused sexually by someone a family member, whoever it is, that just basically put me in a deep hole. I had so much hate in my heart. I trust no one, and I am at a place now where I can actually speak about what happened to me without feeling the hatred or without feeling embarrassed or shame. And I'm just I can say lucky is not the best word. I'm just blessed to be alive.
I love what you just said, is that I'm in a place where I can share and where I can tell my story without feeling ashamed.
Yeah.
And that how blessed you are at this point in your life. And that's something that I love to see in people, because I think any of us who have been through trauma at the hands of somebody that loves us, or just trauma in general, there's this period of time where it doesn't seem like you're ever going to get better.
So true.
So, one of the reasons that I ask you if you would share for this podcast is because I want people to hear these stories of survival. I want them to hear that no matter what has happened to you,
you can make it out.
You can make it out. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to go back a little bit because I think it's important for people to understand history. And when I say history, it's just like where you're from, kind of what kind of family you grew up in. Because one thing I have learned as I've started working with people is that it doesn't matter where you come from, how much money you have, you know, what color your skin is. It's all what language you speak. It's so irrelevant.
It doesn't matter
to the pain that happens.
Yeah.
And nobody is immune. So I like to ask, you know, our survivors and our story sharers what, you know, kind of just to give us a little bit of background on who you are, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you came from.
Absolutely. So, I am originally from Haiti. I came here when I was 9, and my mom was still in Haiti, so I came here with my father, and I've been here ever since then. I visited Haiti, you know, every so often, and my family and the island, Caribbean's family, whatever happens in the family stays in the family. Basically, you eat together, you eat dirt together, you know, you suffering in the inside, but on the outside to everyone, it's like everything is all good and everything. So, as living with my father and with my stepmom, in a Haitian family, you do as you're told. Something happened, you know, agree with it, big deal, whatever. And going through abuse, it was as if like, it's your fault. I'm doing this to you because you made me do it. And you better not talk about it. You're not going to embarrass me. And I'm not saying that's how it is in every family members, but majority of the Caribbean family. You can't talk about it, whatever happened, suffer it alone, die in silence, basically. And I didn't start, you know, getting the abuse until I was like 13, right after my mom passed away. So you could tell a 13-year-old just, you know, going into myself, learning about myself, and for this to happen, just like the whole, everything that you thought you knew, like, it's like you don't know anything anymore. And I used to always wish I was born into another family. I also wish, like, you know, I wish this person was my family just because to, you know, escape the pain. But now I think about it now, they could have been going through the same thing I was going through. You know, they look all happy on the outside because I'm always smiling, going to church and everything. But I was dying inside, you know.
That's so something we've talked a lot about. Not necessarily on this, not you know, not in the audio recordings necessarily, but I know we've talked about it, you and me personally, and I've talked to so many about that, and we say that it's that idea that if this didn't happen to me, something else very well could have. Right. And you know, this pain, this issue, this trauma that occurred to me, it sucks. It's horrible. You know, it's degrading. It brings shame. It brings guilt.
All of the above, yeah.
You know, it has these long-term effects. But, you know, I know when people come and tell me, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. It's like, well, don't be. Yeah. Don't be. Yeah. And it's not that I really would like to go back and relive it. No. But I also realize that everybody carries their burden, and you said something so profound just there. It's like you wished for a different family, but now you know that you don't know what's going on in other people's lives because very often we put on a show.
Oh, yes.
And victims of abuse are often great
at masking everything. Yes.
Great actors. Yes.
Yeah, and I know, like, I used to ask myself, like, when I was going through it, why me? Why is this happening to me? But now I can honestly say, why not me? Because with my experience, I can actually talk to my daughter. I can talk to my son. You know, I can talk to other young women that's going through it, or just the older generation that doesn't like to talk about it. Like, I can generally share my story, share myself with them, and like with that, I might just save a life. And why not me? You know, so as you said, I don't want to go back and relive it.
Right.
But, you know, with my experience, like, I feel like I can actually help somebody else to at least just take a step out the door. Just say, I'm worth better. You know, I don't deserve this. I'm going to try this on my own. Or whatever the case may be, physical abuse, whatever it is. Even verbal abuse. It's just so eminent that all these things are happening to us. It's just like, I feel like I want to just take the whole world and just wash it. But unfortunately, I can't do that. You know? So it's just like,
when you're aware.
Yeah.
When you're aware of the pain brought on by it, and you're aware of the signs. And when you share, and I know we've talked about this as well.
Yeah.
When you share your story, you then become someone that people can talk to, because they can relate, and they feel comfortable because they know that you've been there too. You're not going to judge them.
Yeah.
And sadly, with that comes this wealth of knowledge that I think a lot of us would honestly sooner not have. You know, I don't want to go through life knowing that this person's been hurt, and that person's been hurt, and this person was, you know, physically abused or put in the hospital, and that person lost their child or watched their dog be killed, or this person was raped or molested, or you don't
want to hear that.
You don't want to hear it. No. It's depressing. It's not fun, but it's a reality that
every day
surrounds us.
Yeah.
So. And I mentioned, and I will continue mentioning it over and over and over again on here, that is exactly why we're doing this. Because these are hard topics. They are uncomfortable topics.
Yes. You can say that again.
Even those of us who are out there going, listen to me. Please understand how important this is. None of us want to hear this and know about this. But if we ignore it,
it's going to get worse.
Exactly.
It's going to get worse. And people might say, oh, you know, you're not in my shoes, you want to understand. I may not understand, but I can sympathize with you.
Yes.
I may not have exactly what you're going through right now, but the little that I went through, if we put our heads together, I'm almost 100% sure, you know, you might get something out of it, you know?
Very true.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about your experiences, if you will.
Okay.
You know, to the extent that you're comfortable. And I think it's important, you know, we've expressed how domestic violence is such a broad umbrella and it encompasses so much.
Yeah.
We've talked about child abuse. We've in past episodes we've talked about children who witness violence, you know, between their parents or against one of their parents. We've talked about rape. We've talked about intimate partner violence. So tell me your story.
My story. Where do I begin?
Right? Wherever it works.
Yes. Okay, so as I said, my story began when I was, you know, in high school. And I was the happiest girl in class. I loved going to school because I did not want to go back to the house. And because of going through all these things, and I had no help, no one to talk to. So basically, I just kept everything inside. And because I do so, I was so angered. I was like easily getting angry and getting mad. Like I felt like the whole world was against me. even now as a teenager, like I finally decided to get out. I was 21, and like that was the last beating. I had enough. So and it was midterm. So I'm like,
funny how that happened.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't take it anymore. And I went to school, I took my test, and then like the last beating, like he beat me so badly that I lost my nail, and I was bruised, my forehead was bruised, my breast was bruised. And then after I took my midterm, I started shaking. And my teacher just started talking to me, and I just broke down, And they took me to the hospital, and I have been running ever since. Because I was so afraid that he was going to come find me.
Yeah, I want to clarify who he is.
My father.
Because I think that's really important, because I know this, but people listening might not.
Yeah.
They might think it's a boyfriend or
oh gosh,
friend.
No.
Right.
My dad. He was the person who abused me, physically, sexually, emotionally, verbally. Like I felt like I was the ugliest person. I thought I was the dumbest person in the world because he said I wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be anything. So that's why I worked so hard to be something, to be somebody. And I hated him so much. I stopped hating him last year. I forgave them last year because for myself, I was so sick. Physically, I was good. But inside, I was so tired of the sickness. I was unhappy. And the people around me was unhappy because they didn't want to be around me because I was just a dark cloud. And
radiating.
Yes. So I was tired of being that. He's over there living his life with his wife, whatever, happy. But I'm the one suffering. And I was able to actually genuinely forgive him, because I've said I forgive before, but I was just a front for people.
Right.
I was such an actress. I was so good at front, and I was so good at pretending to be okay, pretending to be happy, but I really wasn't happy. Like, I didn't love myself. I had to learn how to love myself. It is a process. It is not easy. I'm still learning it. And
as we all are.
Yeah. And it's at times I think back, I reminisce. I said, maybe I could have done this differently, but no, I'm not going to do that to myself anymore, because going back,
just another form of self-torture.
Yes. And it gets you back. I get angry again, and I like this person I am today. I like the smiling grace. I like the loving grace. I like the grace people like to be around, and I like the fact that I can help someone. And I don't dream about killing my dad anymore. I used to dream about killing him, like so many different deaths, and I'm not going to hell for him. I'm responsible for one soul, and that's mine. And I don't consider myself a victim anymore. I am a victor. And I used to say that, but I didn't believe it.
I want to talk about that, and I'll just kind of clue you in as to why.
Yeah.
Just this week, we had someone come and seek help.
Yeah.
And she's very much in that remembering, rehashing.
Yeah.
And her words to me over and over and over again were, I know I didn't do anything wrong.
But
everything that she says around that phrase imply that she does not know that.
Yeah.
And you just said something, because I've been trying to express this as best I can, not being a therapist, not having obviously the right. I keep hoping for the right words to help express this. But I remember saying, he means nothing to me.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter. Yes, I know it wasn't my fault. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't love him or care about him anymore. Blah, 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 blah. All the things that I would say.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between saying them
and believing
them.
Yeah.
And when I was saying them, I think there was a part of me that thought that I believed them, but it wasn't until I actually fully felt the weight lifted that I was like, oh,
that's what it means.
Oh, yeah, okay, exactly. Yeah. That's what it means.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for 5 years now.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it didn't work. Why?
For me,
yeah,
I think
I have my theories on this.
Yeah. I think because we're so good at pretending, and people don't want to hear, oh, how you're having a hard time, how you want to, you did all this. They don't want to hear, they want to hear all the flowery things, the beautiful things. So you tell them what they want to hear. And at the same time, you're saying to yourself, try to convince myself.
Yeah.
That, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor, It wasn't my fault. I was just saying it because that's what people want to hear. But it wasn't until I actually believed what I was saying, it really was not my fault. I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. When you say it with conviction, and when you say it you have goosebumps all over yourself, and you just cry when you say it, or even not cry, you just know your heart feels so light, and just the emptiness you felt is no more.
That's
and
it right there.
That's how you know. That's how I knew.
I remember saying to people, I specifically remember saying to my mother,
yeah,
she was like, I don't understand, Amy, you have to stop.
Yeah.
You have to stop. You have to move past this. You have to get over this.
Yeah.
He's not in your life anymore. Because I was constantly saying, I'm over it, I'm over it, I'm over it, I'm over it, I'm over it. And then I would have a complete and total meltdown, and I would be hell on wheels and angry at the world and depressed and not wanting to come out of my house and crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying to her, I don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to be anything but what I am right now.
Exactly.
And I was so angry. I was angry at her. I was angry at everybody around me for not understanding.
Yeah.
I was angry at myself. But I didn't know how
to let it go.
Yeah. Exactly. And I see this in other victims.
Yeah.
And it destroys me, because the rational me that finally understands,
want to take it away,
what it really means to let go of it, just wants to grab them and shake them and say, just
let it go.
Just do it. And the victim side of me that remembers all too well being who they are, knows that
it's a process.
Yeah, that it's not that easy.
No.
And it's a hard. So for people that have never been there, I can't imagine how hard. I actually wrote an apology. You might have even seen it. I actually wrote an apology to my family and friends on my personal Facebook page, and I just said, "Hey, to all of you who listened to me, repeat and rehash
over
and repeat
and over
and over and over again.
Yeah.
Thank you."
Yeah.
Because that's a hard level of patience to have with someone, but it's so necessary.
Yeah. I think that also makes the difference in everything that we're going through. The family love, the friend love, genuine love that's there. Hey, I'm there for you. Hey, Amy, you're beautiful. Hey, Grace, you're beautiful. No matter what, I like the change in you. I like to see you smile.
Yes.
You know, I like this. Oh, you look beautiful in that dress. When I walk down the street, if I see a woman walking down and she's just looking good from head to toe, I say, you are killing that dress. You know, that your makeup is on point. Even a guy, I said, you know, people say, oh, if you said you're gonna think, I don't care what they think. When I walk down the street, I say hi to everybody. I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you answer. You know, you may be walking here, you may be standing there, no one said anything to you. That good morning, that hey, how are you doing? Change the word, because I know when I'm in my hole, I'm having a bad day. Somebody say, hey Grace, how are you today? Good morning. Hey, I'm hanging in there. Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking. I'm not great.
It could make a world of difference.
Yeah.
I know I'm not that good at it, but when people do it, it reminds me, it really can make a difference.
It really does.
When you don't feel invisible.
Yeah, that's the word, feeling invisible. Yeah.
Because a lot of victims do feel invisible.
Yeah.
They don't feel like...
They don't belong.
They don't belong.
Yeah.
And you said something earlier, and let's go back to that. You said about the verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Which, you know, verbal, emotional, psychological, a lot of that really just overlays each other.
Yeah.
They're different things, but
same
one
result.
and the same, exactly.
Yeah, same result.
You know, oftentimes victims feel invisible. Again, even if they don't express it, you can have a high-functioning, very successful, you know, victim out there in society. They could be, you know, Mr. GQ or you know, Miss whatever, you know, Miss Runway, and still be destroyed on the inside. Yeah. Because like you said, we're good at it. We're good at masking. We're good at role playing.
What?
Because you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, when there's a meme out there. I digress, but there's a meme out there, or a quote, and it says, "If she tells you," or I can add to that, if he tells you, if a victim tells you that they are being abused, believe them. It is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, because it takes so much to just take those words out and just say, I'm being abused. It takes a whole lot. It's just like your whole breath to, you know, utter those words, you know. Just if you could just take them and run away with them, like, that's what you want to do, but realistically you can't do that. You know, give a listening ear. You know, just be a shoulder to lean on, to cry on. I know we all have busy lives. We all have things we have going on. But just take a minute out of your busy life to just show someone you care. Yes. And I found that firsthand. It helps. I don't care how bad of a day I'm having. If I see a coworker or a friend in church, they're just like, they're not their normal self, I move from where I was and I sit next to them. They may not want to talk. Just sit there, knowing that you're there. And I've experienced that firsthand. It does really work. It does. Yeah. Because you know that you're cared for. Yeah. And that goes back to what we were saying. What does verbal abuse, you know, from your perspective, what does that do to you? And oh my God. Maybe give us some examples of what it is, because I don't think everybody always understands what that is. Yeah. For me, with the verbal abuse I endure was my father would say to me, oh, you know, I told him I wanted to, you know, be in the army. Oh, you could, but you wouldn't get in because you're not smart enough. You know, oh, you know, you shouldn't wear this because, you know, you're not pretty enough to wear that. He would say to me, and that would kills me. And I would say, oh my God, somebody in church. Oh, this just looks so pretty. I think I'm going to get something similar. Oh, you don't need to get it. It's not going to look good on you. You know, like something, it seems so simple. Like somebody would say, oh, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. But to a young, you know, teenager hearing those things, like, I felt like I was nothing. I was a piece of crap. Like, don't tell your kid that they're not smart enough to do something, and you're not smart enough. Oh, you know, you in class, I would just a bad grade. If I have a C in school,
I would not want to bring my report card because he would beat me for the C. It has to be A's and B's. Like, don't beat me. Just, ask what areas I need help in. Like, it just was so hard. Like, whatever I said didn't matter. I was always lying. And, like, my stepmom didn't make anything easier either. She would just lies and lies. Oh, somebody told me, they saw you kissing a boy. I said, where? I'm like, oh my God, where? And then my father would not ask, did you do this or you didn't do that? He started beating, the hit, curse word. He kicked me one time so hard. Oh my God. I felt like how to explain that? When he kicked me, like I felt that I fall. But then I'm like, I couldn't comprehend how I fell.
Yeah.
Because of how he kicked me,
Because the pain is just unbearable.
Yeah. And then he slapped me so hard one time. Oh, you stupid, you ugly, this and that. And when he slapped me, I swear my face like trembles. My face trembles. And then he come back and say, oh, I love you, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He said, I love you, right? I just looked at him. I had no words. Like, I literally wanted to kill him. Oh, I love you, Grace. Oh, I love you.
Like it makes up for it.
Yeah, it does not. It really doesn't. You tell me you love me after you put me down so low, it does not help. Oh, I'm always here for you. I'm the only one you have. Those words tell me you're the only one I have. Like, if anything happened, I'm all you have.
Well, that's the control piece.
Yeah. So it's... Please, people. It's like...
What, when you hear that, and I had this conversation with somebody else, but, I had the verbal abuse from my husband at that point. And I was fairly young when I started dating him, but, most of the blatant, obvious, verbal
signs,
abuse came a little bit later. What does that do to you long term?
You're scarred.
What does it do to you, like, short term as well, and then later on in life?
With both the verbal and the physical, like, I felt like I could not, if I'm talking to you, before when I used to talk to people, I would not look at you in the eye. Because I felt like I was not worthy to look at you in your eye when I'm talking to you. I would always look away, fidget, do something, or my hand would be in my pocket. Because I just felt like, okay, what are they thinking about me? Am I saying it right? Is that how I should say it? Or, if somebody liked me in school, I'm like, he wants something. What does he want? Does he really like me? Like, what is he trying to get? Because he always tell me, nobody's going to like you because they always want something to like you. Mm-hmm. Even in short terms, I still ponder. At work, if somebody's doing something nice to me, okay, what does he or she want in return?
It's a way of
thinking.
Yeah, it's a way of thinking. I equate what happens to you in abuse, and I'm sure this is in other situations as well.
Yeah.
But it's when you're abused for a long enough period of time, there comes a point where you start believing or fully believe what your abuser is telling you.
Yeah.
Even if you're fighting it. That's the irony behind it, is even if you're saying, they're just saying that to be mean, or they're just saying that to get their way.
Or he really do love you, or...
Yeah, no matter what it is that you're telling yourself, you start believing.
I did.
Yeah.
I believed it.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're subjected to it long enough,
wow.
you start to believe what they tell you. Again, I've had so many conversations with women in particular. And it's funny and then you brought it up again.
Yeah.
It was that I was told that I would amount to nothing.
Yeah.
So I proved them wrong.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm in that boat. You're in that boat. I literally had one or two other conversations this week alone with women who have said that I proved them wrong.
Yeah.
I went on. I did X, Y, and Z, whatever that is, to prove that I was not what they said.
Yeah.
I'm
somebody.
Yep.
I'm somebody. I may not be somebody to you, but I'm somebody.
Exactly.
And it took me a long time to actually realize what that somebody is. And for me, that somebody is to be happy with myself. And when I'm happy with myself, then I could be happy with somebody else. Because I was in a relationship thinking that, you love this person. How can I love this person when I don't love myself? Like, I was not giving myself, my wall was like thick. Like, you stay over there.
Yeah.
I see you. You could stay over there. Yeah. So it's oh my gosh, like I think back and just wow, I made it. I actually made it.
You have.
Yeah.
And being someone that knows you and knows your personality off of this.
Yeah.
I mean, she is, for the record,
Yes.
Grace is that bubbly, happy, positive personality that's always encouraging other people.
Yes.
And you're not afraid to say when you're having a bad day.
Oh, gosh, no.
But that's important,
Yeah.
because that's one of those skills that, like, I personally am kind of proud that I've finally, at least gotten a hang of.
Yeah.
It's, to wake up and be able to say, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm allowing the negative things in my life to get to me.
Yeah.
I acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do what I can to change it.
Exactly.
Don't
let it control you.
Exactly. And to just be able, for me, to be able to have something happen, even if it's something that's a little more long term. I mean, I go through sometimes these spurts, and again, people that know me, they know it, where I get negative, or I do the, oh, why me, or the, I'm trying so hard, and blah, blah, blah. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
and it's funny, because if you say those words to somebody else, they might not understand that you also say those words to yourself.
Yeah. And what works for me too, what I do, like if I'm feeling down, like if I say I'm down, okay, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, no, it got to stop. So I start writing myself little notes like, Grace, you are beautiful. Grace, you are this. In my room, I have sticky note that says those things, and what I need to get now is those little poster board where I could actually write it. And they say fake it until you make it. And when I start reading those things and reading little books to just boost myself up, those really work. It doesn't work, if you do it now, it's not gonna work in a day or 2 days. But consistent. If you're consistent with it does work for me. It really does.
Again, this is like, I try to explain this to the women that I work with, or that come for advice or whatever, and that's a good way of putting it. I always thought about the fake it till you make it as being like a sales ploy. You know what I mean? Like, you're not good at your job, so you fake it till you make it. Or you're not good at whatever, skill. But, I've always said that it's a rewiring of your brain. Yeah. Because your mind and your emotions and your body, it's muscle memory.
You feed it.
Yes.
Whatever you feed it, that's what it's gonna get.
And it remembers what it knows. It remembers. I know something that nags at me a lot, and I still don't know how to explain it. So I'm not even sure what it is, but I put a lot of thought into it. Too much thought. But it's this kind of nagging that goes on inside of me. And I think what I've determined that it is, right or wrong, is that I spent so many years sad.
Yeah.
so many years just sad, depressed, feeling unworthy, feeling worthless.
Yep.
And that, sadly, seems to be where my body, it's like its go-to happy place.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, but that's what my body remembers.
That's what it knows.
It's what it knows.
Yeah.
And I will find myself almost, for lack of a better term, because like I said, I don't know how to explain it, missing that. Like, I feel like I'm just constantly fighting to stay happy and above water, and to stay positive, and these little things will happen that will, push me back, and I drop below that waterline. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And the rational side of me is like, no, this is not where you are supposed to be. Stop that. Yeah. And I have to talk myself out of it. Yeah. I have to remind myself.
Yeah, write yourself little love notes. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. I buy myself flowers. I take myself out. Because I'm worthy of that. And if I feel like I need something, I'm not saying go splurge, things like that, but if I see I love roses, I go and buy myself roses, and I take care of my roses. If I feel like, I need to tell myself something, I would write it. I love to read. That's my getaway. And music. So motivational books, books that's going to get you up there, not drop you down.
Right.
And sometimes I do feel like I can't get out of bed. I need to stay in bed. Oh, I can't do this today. Today's just not the day. Yeah. Just outside the kids. Go away. Leave me alone for now. But they're not laying there. They don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. Even though I don't want to, I get up. I'm still in my funky mood, but I get up. You just have to get up. And you just
And you notice that as you push forward...
Yeah.
that each time it happens, it becomes easier.
Yeah. And surround yourself with positive people.
Definitely.
I cannot stress this enough. Oh my God. Positive people. I don't care how much of a funk you in. When you surround yourself with those positive people, their light, their shine is going to shine through your darkness. It happened with me. And that is why I am so eager to help somebody else. I don't care how angry or sad I am. If I see somebody else that's sad next to me, I'm gonna put aside my sadness and just enlight theirs. They could be going through something worse than me.
Yeah.
Mine, I may think it's like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, but theirs could be a lot worse. You never know.
I had somebody once say to me something along the lines of, nobody's pain is greater than anyone else's.
Yes.
And
so true.
And that was coming from somebody who had suffered through a lot.
Yes.
And that was his answer to me whenever he asked me how I was doing, and I did one of those, could be better, because blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And, and I said, I'm sorry. I was like, I shouldn't say that to you. That was really just rude and unthoughtful of me. Mm-hmm. He says, nobody's pain is, he says, everybody has what they have. Mm-hmm.
I say any day above ground is a great day.
Yep.
Because you wake up today and you walking, you smiling. Somebody else is in the hospital fighting for their lives, or lost a life, or 6 feet deep under. We're not. I say that's a great day. Definitely. No matter what. And that's what I live on today, because even though I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna put something positive. When I see the positivity, I will change my mindset and just regain the positivity. I cannot afford to be this grumpy person, because I have 2 little people that's watching me.
And even so, you said earlier, and you said, I'm worth it.
Yes.
And
very
it's
much
true.
So. Yeah.
And that is something else I try to say to Puppy. I'm like, life can be beautiful.
Yeah.
It can be happy, but it's up to you to make that happen.
You have to make it. You love the life that you live.
Yes.
By putting in the work.
Yep.
Don't just say you want to live this life, but just sitting there watching it go by.
Exactly.
If you don't get off your butt and do it, it will not happen. And it is not easy.
No. And I think that's something that we should harp on a little bit. It is not easy.
It is not.
And that's, again, I don't care if you've been, whatever has happened to you that has brought you to the place that you cannot get past.
Yeah.
I tell people this, and it sounds crass. I know it does, but I say it's irrelevant. Because what happened to you before has nothing to do with the potential that you have in your life now.
Yeah.
And that might sound uncaring, and I know to somebody that's going through it, I tell them, hey, this is coming from somebody that took years to get this right, okay?
Yeah.
And I still don't have it right, so I shouldn't even say get this right, to even come close to having it right.
Having it together.
Yeah, having it together. You know, that I can have these conversations, and that, most of my days, I am positive, and I am happy and focused, and I know how blessed I am to be where I am. But I remember where I was. And when I see you reliving and reliving and reliving
again and again.
I know, I get it, because I was like the queen of that. And you ask anybody, any of those loving, wonderful people that did stand by me, I was retelling the same story over and over and over again. Maybe it came in some kind of different form, but it was the same story.
Yeah, the same tune.
Yeah, it was the same tune. And that gets you nowhere. The problem with that is not, yes, you have to acknowledge. Somebody expressed it to me, and just, I'm a very visual, hands-on type of person, so
me too.
It made a lot of sense. But they said, it's not that you have to ignore or suppress those thoughts and feelings. That's not it at all. Because if you ignore and suppress them, they will come back.
Oh, yes.
And it will be worse than it was. You have to deal with them. But dealing with them also does not mean reliving them and repeating and reliving and repeating and talking and thinking and dreaming and sleeping.
The same thing over and over again.
What you have to do literally is you have to, those thoughts come into your head, you have to acknowledge their existence, and you have to send them on their way.
Don't push it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't put it aside. I don't remember where I saw, but how when it's very cloudy, they say behind every cloud there's some sunshine or whatever. And that's how we feel like every day. If you feel like you can get up grumpy, whatever, but that's just now.
Yeah.
There's a whole 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just it's what you put in. If it's important enough for you, you will make an effort. And
be patient with yourself.
Yeah. Oh my God, patient in capital letters. Bold capital letters.
Because you will fail over and over again, but that's okay, because it's not really failure, it's just growing. It's growth.
Learning about yourself. Learning to love yourself. Learning that you are worthy to get all that you deserve. Worthy that someone, a friend, can hug you and he or she just want to hug you. They may just give you something just because they're kind. They don't want something in return. I had to tell myself that.
Well, and
still today,
I think anytime you have any kind of trust issues, there's some level of that going on with you.
Yeah.
And even when you're not prepared, not ready for relationships, and I don't mean just intimate relationships. Any relationships, friendships, relationships within your family. Like you said, you have to learn to love yourself and to be at peace with where you are before you will attract the right people.
You will attract, just not the right people.
Yeah, you will attract people, that exactly. They just will not be the correct person. And that's what happens a lot of times. You see cyclical issues with people where, they were abused as children, and then they're later abused and abused again and abused again. And it's because of who we attract to us and because we have not learned to create boundaries and, a healthy protective layer. Because there's a difference between a healthy protective layer and building up a wall or a fortress.
So true. So very true. I don't remember how long ago. I want to say maybe 3 or 2 years ago. I would tell myself, why am I attracting all these people? Like, what's wrong with me? I'm like, but then I changed my way of thinking. I changed my attitude. And again, it did not happen overnight. It took me years.
Yeah.
And then once I changed my way of thinking, and the way I walk is different. The way I talk is different. The way I dress myself and the way when I carry myself differently, that's what I attract.
Yeah.
And it boggles my mind. I'm like, oh my God, it really is true. Like, I was saying it, but I wasn't actually doing it.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I just said that to someone. I'm talking to people way too much, obviously. I am literally, again, it's just in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I remember, I said this again, I was like, I remember, like, hating people, like hating them, like avoiding them, not wanting to be anywhere near them, because they would tell me, you need to change, you need to love yourself, you need to
the violent thing. Yeah.
I'm like, get away from me, like stop.
You have no idea. You don't know.
I do love myself. It's like and now being on the other side of it, like I see people that act the same way I did, and I'm like, yeah, sweetie, like I get it.
Yeah.
Yes, you're very angry right now, and I know you think that what you're saying is true, but it's not because I can read it all over you. And it's I laugh at how I responded, but it's at the same time it's sad. It's sad because, like we were talking, there are so many people out there that are experiencing this, and there shouldn't be. I want all those people to come across to the other side, and to just know
the joy,
exactly how joyful it can be, and how happy you can be, and how you don't need anybody or anything else
just yourself
to have that.
Just need yourself.
I want to go back to your story, because I can talk about this all the time, because that is my passion, and I know it's your passion as well.
Yeah.
But let's go back so that, again, people can have a full understanding of where you're coming from. So you stayed with your dad, and you said he was abusive, literally in every form, and I think that's important too, because a lot of people think, oh, so what, words are just words, or, oh, well, my dad beat me too, or, whatever. But your dad was sexually abusive to you, verbally, emotionally, and you stayed for, 8
I was
years?
not.
You said you were 13.
I started at 13, and I finally left after the last beating. I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about,
Yeah.
So
I stayed because I had nowhere to go.
And I was going to say, I say you stayed, but this isn't, I not want to speak. I stayed for 16 years, and I could have left. But as a child, you can't leave your, children are dependent on their parents for shelter, for food, for everything, and that's what we know.
Yeah, I think the second year it was happening, he had a brother, so I called him to come over. I said, I'm gonna run away. He said to me, I'll never forget that. If you can't run away because it's not gonna look good in the community.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. He said, you can't run away. It will not look good in our community.
Had nothing to do with you.
Right.
Did you tell him what was happening?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, I'll talk to him. He talked to him, all right.
How'd that go?
When he left, he beat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's something else a lot of people don't realize is they want to intervene usually for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But confronting an abuser
the wrong way
is just about never the right way to go about
exactly.
it. Because when you confront an abuser about abuse, very often
they think you're accusing them. They don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Yeah. They could easily put on a show, deny, or apologize, or,
Yeah.
But it almost always comes back on the victim, because the victim outed them, which is another reason victims do not speak.
They don't speak because they're going to come back to them.
Doesn't matter if that's child abuse or if it's intimate partner violence. If you're being abused by someone, you very often don't tell anybody, because if it comes back that you did, then you pay for it.
And I remember getting it, I used to lock my door. I was so afraid to go to sleep. I literally, he had a key to every door. Of course, it's his house.
Yeah.
Even though I would lock the door, he would open the door. It's my house. You don't lock this door. I'm like, okay. And then, I think I had it enough. I think I was about 17. And I want to talk to my stepmom. I explained to her what's going on. I said, I can't take it anymore. She said to me, and I'll never forget that, I've also forgiven her for that. It took years. She said to me, if he was my child, I would make him stop. Yeah. If he were my child, I would make him stop. I just looked at her. I had no words. I just walked away.
So it's important to point out that you went to two people that you should have been able to trust.
Yeah.
And ask for help.
Yeah.
Which is not easy.
I thought he was going to kill me.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you've already experienced, that telling gets you worse abuse.
He said to me, after this whole thing, and before my grandma passed, I was very close with my grandma. We talked to her, sent stuff to her. He said to me, if you tell her, and I'm going to tell her how bad you're doing here in the States, and she's going to go in the ocean and kill herself. I said...
This was after you told your stepmom?
Yeah. Because, I talked to my grandma. My grandma was in Haiti. Yeah. I was here, and he knows me and her. Because my mom passed.
Right.
My grandma basically raised me. So, I would talk to her, he's like, oh, if you go tell her, when I tell her how bad you're going here or the direction you're going, and she's going to kill herself in the ocean. I don't want my grandma to die.
Right.
I believed him.
Right, yeah.
And, he had, I remember it's a silver gun. I don't know what type of gun it was. And one day he just came in my room loading the gun in front of me. At this point, I didn't care. I said, just go ahead and use it. I don't really care if I die. I was at this point, I didn't give a damn anymore. And I guess bringing the gun here was supposed to scare me. But I was at a point where I didn't care anymore. I've had it. I felt like nobody had my back. I was on myself. I was by myself. I was alone. My uncle, your brother, couldn't help me. Stepmom, I'm not her child, so she couldn't help me. I couldn't go to the church and talk because it would be a shame on the family, and it wouldn't look good in the community. And I'm like, do whatever you have to do. I don't know, when he see that I didn't care, he just get up and leave.
Yeah.
It's just
well, the power doesn't hold anymore.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, then they'll leave the tactic and find a new one.
Yeah, I didn't care anymore. I just was working. Couldn't wait to finish high school. Because I heard when you're in the state, once you're 18, you're basically an adult. And then he just knew. From the time I hit 18, 19, things was good. Not good as in There wasn't no abuse. There wasn't no beating. He didn't come and try to do his thing that he normally do at night. And I was kind of happy. I was telling myself. But he knew what he was doing, because at 18, I could be by myself because I was working at the time. And and then it started again. The minute I hit 20, it just started again. 21, October 21st, 2001. That's the last day he laid a hand on me. And he took a 2x4. He was talking to me and I was watching TV. And he's talking. Oh, I see you got a cell phone. Who told you could get a cell phone? Oh, I see you got a computer. Who told you could get a computer? I need the cell phone, the computer for work, the cell phone, because I just needed I wanted a cell phone.
21 and have a job.
Yeah, and I was paying for it.
Yeah.
And if I put in gas in my car, I bought my own car with my own money. If I put $25 in the gas in the car, and then he'll call me, why did you take $25 out of your bank account? It's my bank account. I'm thinking that, but I did not say that.
Yeah.
And when he was hitting me that time, like with the he took a cable cord and put it in two, like hitting me with it. And that time I had a scissors in my bathroom. Something said, go get it. I was about to go get it. And then another voice said, Grace, don't. You will die right there. I just couldn't take the beating anymore, so I bust into my stepmom room. She was sleeping. And then she just got up. She just got up, sit there, and he's still beating me, kicking me on the floor. And she did not say stop. She did not do anything. I bust in the room to help me, like, help me get this man off of me that's hitting me. Like, I had no other way to, cover my face or anything, like. But you're just sitting there, like, help me. I hated her so much. But I realized that she was also being abused by him as well.
I was just going to ask you that. What the dynamics were, because as we know, most of the time, if one person in the home is being abused, everyone is.
Yeah.
If the mother's abused, the children are probably abused, maybe at different levels. If a woman is verbally, emotionally, physically abusive with her husband or significant other, the children are probably also at the receiving end of that. Pets, it trickles all the way down. A controlling person in the home is a controlling person.
Right. I'm not sure if there was any sexually abused with her, but I witnessed one time that he actually slapped her so hard, and he started choking her, pushing her against the sliding door, the closet door, actually, the closet door. And I witnessed it for the first time. Like, she was so scared. She started shaking, like, at that point, I'm like, okay. All I said was okay, and I just went and left and went in my room and just stayed there the whole day. Even though he was doing it to me, I've never witnessed it on someone else. I understand she was scared, but Jesus, yeah.
Sorry if you couldn't hear that.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, so it's... I don't know.
Allergy attack.
Yeah.
That would be one of Grace's littles.
Always that loud. Always. It's... But yeah.
So, it's that dynamic in the whole home. He's the one that's in control. He's the one that has the power. And if you cross him, bad things happen. So you've got intimate partner violence, which I always say, if he did that in front of you, or if they do that in front of kids, if they do that in front of other people, other adults, then it's what's happening behind closed doors is often much worse, because in general, abusers have a reputation to maintain. It's not I had to laugh because one of our survivors actually said, it's not a guy in a pickup truck. It's not that visual that you get of the abuser that's just like the redneck hillbilly out in the swamp that's beating on his wife at night. I mean, it's funny because there's often this visual, and even now, if you go to Google and you look at the image library under domestic violence, almost all of those men have a very distinct look to them.
Yeah.
There's some different ones in there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that are very cut and paste, carbon copy, buff, kind of short hair, white. This carbon copy of what we think domestic violence looks like. And the woman is always cowering in a corner or has a black eye.
In the hospital with a tube in her mouth.
Yeah, exactly. And these visuals, while they mean well, they're trying to get a point across. They're trying to make it something that you can see. I personally really do like the ones that they have now for verbal abuse, where it's just a shadow of a person surrounded by all the words. Yeah,
I love that. That just
because it hits so close to home. And I think anybody can see themselves in that place if they've experienced verbal abuse.
Most definitely. I think so.
How did you leave? So you said you went to class. And
I went to class. I took my test, and then I guess I was shaking because I was in so much pain. And I had to tape my finger together to keep the nail intact. I was in school for medical assistant. So when the professor saw that, and then she called me aside. She said, "What's going on?" I said, "Can you please look at my finger and tell me if I'm going to lose a nail?" She said, "Do you want the truth?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, sweetie, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose a nail." I lost it. I don't think it was the fact that I was losing the nail. It's the fact that she was talking to me.
Yeah.
I just lost it. And she took me in a conference room. She started asking me questions, and I started talking. And then they took me to the emergency room. The bruises I had, they cleaned me up, patched me up. Did surgery on the nail to remove the little thing that was hanging. And then from that point on, they said, you can't go home. I started crying. I said, I don't have any other home.
So you don't want to go back, but at the same time, what are you supposed to do?
I said, I don't have anywhere to go. She said, "Oh, sweetie, you can't go home." I said, "My stuff is there." I said, "I have nothing." All this, I'm crying. I'm boo-boo crying. Boogers and everything. And then I had my car, a Catalyst Supreme. I remember because I bought it. With my own money. I had to sleep in the car. I slept in my car for a week before they wanted me to go back to the police station. I was too scared. I did not go. I was afraid he was going to wait for me there. Because he said he's not afraid of no cops. No cop can touch him. I didn't think any cop could touch him. It
shows to the arrogance, but it's what you're fed.
Yeah. So I slept in my car for a whole week. To go to work, I go to McDonald's. Or I was working at Publix at the time. Or I would go extra early, go in the thing, just clean myself up, or I go McDonald's because I didn't want people at work to see me, and I had my uniform with me, and that's what I did for a week. After a week, I went back to the station. He actually called me. The officer called me. He said, I've been calling you. I've been ignoring his call, and I finally went and we started talking. And I said, I have no clothes, I have nothing, and the clothes that I had, because I had my scrubs. So I always have a packed clothes, like a little bag with clothes in my car, because just in case I decide to run. Because I always thought if I didn't go, he was gonna kill me. So I used that and I wash it with the soap at McDonald's, and in the car I would lay it on the back of the car because it would dry. The sun would hit it and it would dry.
Bonus, I guess, to living in South Florida.
Yeah. Yes. So that's what I did. Yes.
Because when you think about this, that's a scary That's scary.
Yeah, it is.
And just a lot of people face that.
Every day. And I get sick to my stomach because when I was going through that, I would cry every night. And when it comes to go to school, back to school or back to work, I was happy. Like, I was fake smiling. Like, I was a happy person, but I was dying inside. Like, and then when I needed to get my clothes, they took me in there. They had 2 cops with me. And I'm shaking. I'm picking myself. The stuff are dropping on the floor. He just stopped me. He just let me. He said, "Sweet honey, he can't touch you while we're here." He said, "We got you. Take your time." I'll never forget that. And I stopped shaking. Because I thought he was going to come and just kill me.
Yeah.
You know? And I grabbed some of my stuff, my clothes and everything. And I just I slept another week in my car. And then the hospital, the same teacher find out about women in distress. And after the second week in my car, and then I went there and I stayed there for a while. And even there, I didn't trust them. I did not trust them because he said nobody's there gonna help you. They always want something in return. Even though the one was so sweet to me, like I was there to myself.
And for people who don't know or people that aren't from here, Women in Distress is basically our local shelter.
Local shelter for abused physical women who's been battered, you know, and you go there, they shelter you. It is undisclosed location because they don't want your abuser to know where it is. Yeah. Basically, the cop was halfway, and then I would walk the rest of the way and I would meet the women there. It was gated, so I felt a little safe that the fact that he didn't know where I was. But he said he could find you anywhere. He could find me anywhere. So after that, when I left Women in Distress, I would move every 3 months. Because I thought he would find me and come and kill me.
So constantly living on the
Every 3 months I would move.
When you went to the cops, I mean, obviously they had a medical record from your emergency room victim, or victim, your emergency room visit. You had, obviously told them. They went to the home to help you get your things out.
They arrested him at work.
So that's what I was going to say. So did you press charges? Because
hell yes.
Yeah, okay.
I did.
Yeah, good. No, good. And a lot of people don't.
I did.
A lot of people do not.
Yeah, and besides, even if I didn't want to, because I was 21, I'm of legal age, they got him for the battery. With the sexual that night, he did not, when they beat me, he did not abuse me sexually that night. Right. They didn't get him for that, and because it happened since I was 13. Yeah. What did they call it? They use a word for it. They was it was too long ago.
Oh,
they couldn't pass.
Yeah, past. Well, it probably was past the statute of limitations.
Yeah, exactly.
They also don't have the evidence.
Exactly. So, what happened every time he would come in my room, I would write in my diary. He found that diary and burned it before I went to. Yeah. So that was my proof, but I had no proof.
It was gone.
Yeah. So they got him for the battery. I had to go to court, and I was so scared. I was terrified. I don't know how I made it through that court appearance. At that time, I had Shane at 23. It was 21, 2 years later, and I was still scared. And I'm walking into the court he was sitting on this side, and my head is just straight. And
just not have to make eye contact.
Yeah. And then they had me really this whole thing again. I lost it. And then the judge was like, "Sweetie, do you want to take a minute? Do you need to stop? Get a glass of water?" And all this time I'm in the court, he's shaking his head like I was lying. Everybody said that I was lying. I made it up. If I didn't tell the stepmom or my uncle, I would believe that I was lying because how strong they was. He never admit to it. And when my uncle's wife found out, she asked him, "Why didn't you tell me?" She's telling me this because I wasn't there. He said to her, "Oh, I was so ashamed to say anything."
Your uncle told his wife that you were too ashamed.
He was too ashamed to tell her
because it was his brother.
Yeah. You know, when everything went to court, when they was talking about it, then they were on the oath. They had to talk. They had to speak the truth.
Yes.
That's when they finally realized what it was. 2-3 years ago, I have another stepmom. She said, "You know, I thought you were lying. I am sorry. I am sorry. I thought you were lying. I did not think he would do something like that."
So that's 3 people.
Yeah.
That you reached out to.
Yeah. So it's just when you tell people, tell someone. And they do tell someone, and that come backfired at them. At that point, what can we expect them to do?
Yeah.
You know, you tell them to do it, and they do it, but that doesn't
mean that they get the help that they need.
Exactly. And some abusers, they will find them and kill them.
Well,
and
I mean, that's as factual as it gets. I mean, statistically, you know, a victim, the most dangerous time for a victim is when they leave their abuser.
Yeah.
Because abusers
they
lose control, and they will find and often kill. And we see it time and time and time again.
Yeah.
And, you know, we hear of families that are murdered. We hear of, you know, the teacher that was murdered out in San Bernardino, and the classmate, or, you know, one of her students was killed. We hear it all the time. But we don't talk about it in the context that needs to be talked about. And there's so many, even, you know, people that are dangerous to our community. The ones just pop into mind. We just hit a year since the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando.
Yes, oh my gosh.
That's a perfect example of a man who had a history of domestic violence. The DC sniper, although that's been a while back, you know, I was around in the DC area when that happened. Another person who had a history of domestic violence, but very often victims don't come forward.
Too afraid.
Even if they do, charges are never followed through with, or there's not enough evidence.
Get dropped.
It becomes a he said, she said.
If
the cops are called to a house during an actual incident, very often, you know, victims will change their story or will not. Even if a neighbor calls the police or the victim calls the police, it's often questionable circumstances. I remember an incident in my home. I was in law school at the time, so I was not like an uneducated, individual. But I remember when my husband broke a picture frame, and he literally sliced his finger open and fighting with it, and threatened that if I didn't drive him to the hospital, and that if I didn't take care of the situation, he said that he would call an ambulance and he would tell them that I did it because I didn't want to drive him to the hospital, because he had just gotten done beating me up and screaming at me. And his logic was,
take me.
You're going to take me to the hospital, and you're going to be a good girl and play along so that I can get this stitched up, or I'll call 911 and have an ambulance come for my little cut finger. Literally, I mean, it it needed stitches, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't, he didn't lose his hand, or, he wasn't gushing blood.
Right.
That he would call. He says, I will call and I will tell them that you did this. And he literally grabbed a knife from the kitchen, held it up in the air, and he said, you did this to me. And he rewrote reality. And I believed him. And I thought, he's the one that's injured. They're going to come and they're going to believe him, and I'm going to go to jail.
Yep.
So they play these games. They threaten. They coerce.
And it works. It really works. It works. And I even when he was in court and when he was coming in shackles, I remember feeling sorry for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I couldn't understand why that is. You know, like I felt sorry. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Right.
But looking back, I was feeling sorry because of what he put himself in.
Yeah.
His predicament.
You're empathizing.
I empathize what he was going through.
Yeah.
You know, throughout, he's still my father.
Right.
You know, crazy times. But everything happened for a reason.
How did you get from there to where you are now?
Oh my goodness, it's a long journey. Oh wow, with the help of friends, Melissa, she introduced me to Landmark. Even though I was reading self-help books, that wasn't helping. So I went to this place called Landmark. And Landmark just opened up the little I had and just basically take out, you know how when a snake change skin, basically. Yeah. So basically they did that with my help, you know. Because I wanted to change, I was tired of being this grumpy person, unhappy person.
Yeah. And
they helped me see what I already have in me. And they helped me see the person that I am today. Like, I am happy with who I am. Before, I would not leave my house without no makeup because I didn't think I was beautiful. I was piling on and stuff. Now, hell, I am gorgeous. You don't like it? Turn your face.
Says the two of us that are sitting here with
no makeup.
That is the joy of audio.
Yes. And, you know,
it's Saturday. Who needs makeup?
And I go to the store like that. I wake up like this. So, yeah. So they basically helped me realize, you know, the potential that I have, the person that I am, the person I always was. I just didn't realize. I didn't realize it, and they helped me realize that. And they helped me to forgive. I was holding on to that hurt. I couldn't let it go. I thought I was hurting him, but I was hurting myself. And the minute I let that hurt, that anger go, I just shine. I shine through. And like people who knew me see the difference, or people who see me was like, oh my God, you're so happy. And I remember one time I have such a headache at work. I had a headache. I was dying. It was throbbing. I had migraines. But I was still smiling and greeting them and everything. I'm not going to let my migraine take me on. I'm going to take you out. She's like, oh my God, my head is killing me. She saw me pressing, you know. She's like, oh, what's wrong? I said, oh, I have a migraine. She's like, if you didn't tell me, I would have never known. You smiling. That right there made my day. Because I wasn't going to let that migraine take over my day, basically.
Yeah.
And just to know that I'm actually truly happy, truly love myself. Before I was people who said, oh, I love myself. I used to tell people, oh, I'm awesome, I'm this and that, I'm the bum diggity. I was just telling people that just to tell them. I didn't believe it. I didn't love myself. I did not think I was pretty. I did not think I was smart. But I actually know those things are true. They are fact, you know. And it is what it is. I am who I am. I am Grace. A survivor, a victor, not a victim.
And that's that transition, you know. When you mentioned Landmark, and I just think it's important for people to understand that, you know, even when you decide that you're over it, like I am done with what I'm allowing to take place in my life, you know, because there's so many steps to healing. But I think two major ones is one is leaving the situation that you're in, getting the help that you need to leave, getting the help that you need to get on your feet to get moving in the right direction. But that's not that's not the last step. That's just the first
step.
And there's a misconception there that people think, once I leave, once
everything
I walk
is good.
away, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be better. But that's not always the case. I'm not saying
not at all.
It doesn't happen, but most situations are going to say that's not the case. Because it's really just the beginning of your journey to healing. Everything doesn't go away and get better just because you left. Okay, you did the most important thing and then you got out.
Then the struggle begins.
Yeah, but then you have to find that. And like you said, sometimes it takes us a long time to figure out that, that maybe that we need to get therapy. Or that we need to find a support group.
Yes.
That we need to surround
I say all of the above.
Yeah. And sometimes it comes in pieces.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. But I encourage people to do all of the above, as you said, as soon as possible. Even if you think you have it all together. And even if you think...
It's deep down under. Because you don't know. You think once you leave, I'm fine. You are not fine. Because you endure all this abuse for so long. One day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year will not be okay. You will not be okay. Because you're not used to this you that you know now.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time for you to get used to it. And you have to be open to somebody helping you. And letting somebody help you doesn't mean you're weak.
No.
It doesn't mean like, you're not anything. You're strong for allowing another person to come into your life to help you to be better. I think that's the strongest, the bravest person ever, for you to allow another human being to help you be the best of you.
And you're when you first leave a negative, toxic, abusive, I don't care what you want to call it. There's a lot of names that you can put on these situations. When you first leave those situations, that takes a ton of strength.
Take guts.
It takes guts. It's scary. It's scary on so many levels.
You wonder if you made the right choice. Am
I going to regret this? Is it going to get better? Am I going to be able to survive? I mean, the reasons for it being scary are endless. But there also comes this, I think, sort of adrenaline rush at some point. Like when you finally work through all the garbage that it takes to actually get out, you feel this euphoric sense of freedom. Yeah. Which kind of propels you along, and it's fantastic and it's great. But I think it's important for people to know that it doesn't usually last.
It doesn't.
And it's a good thing, and it's kind of like that fight or flight. It's that fight mode. You're just going. That's what gets you through the court dates. That's what gets you through the actual leaving, the actual physical processes that have to happen. But you have to know that, and I don't mean this that you will know, but I'm saying you have to know, as then you should know, that euphoria will wear off. So my suggestion to people is, if you're not in therapy, get in it. I didn't.
Or even like a study group, like a how do you call it?
A peer group.
A peer group.
Yeah. Get into a peer group. Get a mentor. Go to your local shelter, your local support group, your local church, if they have something available. Find what your resources are and get yourself involved in them, and get yourself around people that like the same kind of things as you do. Get involved in your community. Yeah. But you need to do all of it, and there's a lot to think about. But the sooner you
do it,
get your feet in those different doors, and
the better.
The better.
Like, I think sometimes people don't know where to look. If you go on Google like peer group or Facebook, or if you dial 211 and you say, hey,
that's in Broward County. 211. Yeah, 211.
And they will help. Like, whatever Facebook, you're not going to tell me a whole lot. Just say, hey, I'm feeling a certain type of way, I need to talk to someone.
Yes.
Just go on Google and just research that, because we are a world of technology. anything you want, YouTube, Google, you'll find it. You just have to take the first step. It's not going to be easy. You're going to pick up the phone, dial the number, and hang up the phone.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
you
important
will do
to
that.
know because it's the honest to goodness truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll reach out so many times before you actually follow through.
It's okay to go to a peer group and not say anything. Listen to what they're saying, because someone might went through something. They may dealt with it differently. You might learn something from that person. It's great to talk, to share, because the more you talk about it, the more you're releasing it.
Yes.
But when you first go there, it's okay to just sit and listen. You're not wrong for that. It's just something to do to get you on the right track.
And I think it's also something that and again, this is just from personal experience and what I've seen with others.
Yeah.
When you say talk about it, like, I think it's important to talk about how you feel.
Yeah.
Talk about how you're reacting now. Talk about where you want to be. Talk about what is hurting you. And part of that process will take you back to things that have happened, that have brought you to where you are. But I think it's really important to not
dwell on the past.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like I said earlier, it's human nature. We've all done it, but you want to keep rehashing what happened to you because you feel like a victim. You're hurt. You're crushed. You feel unworthy. You feel worthless. You feel whatever it is that you feel is because of what has happened to you. So you're like, and this happened, and this happened, and this person told me that, and that person told me this, and he said, she said.
But let's take it forward. Let's not go back.
Exactly.
Because when you keep going back, you're taking yourself back in that hole. When you are in that hole, nobody can reach you.
Yes.
Like, let's say, yes, he or she said that, but this is what I am doing to get myself past it. Let me just say, it is not going to happen overnight. It took me years to get to that. So, it takes time.
Tell me a little bit about your group. Tell them a little bit about your group. Tell them what you're doing.
My baby.
There's... It's your new baby.
Yes, my new baby.
Got too old. You needed a new one.
Yes, my new baby. So... because of what I went through, I don't want another person, another young woman, whoever, to go through what I went through. Lost, but not forgotten. Because I felt lost. I felt like I was forgotten. I felt like I was a nobody. So my group is to bring these women, young women, older women, wherever, to just bring you along, to just, you are not lost, you're not forgotten. We're here, we're going to talk about it. Talking about it might just save a life. And this is so dear to me. It means so much to me because it's a part of me that I'm trying to share with the world for the better. And we just started her, and she's not up and running yet, just, on social media. But it means a whole lot to me where I can reach other women to just help them. I don't care how. I don't know how. Just talking. If you need to talk, I am here. I am there. Wherever you want me, I'm going to be there.
And social media is an amazing tool.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a safe space in its own right. People don't have to leave their homes to be a part of it. They don't have to call anybody to be a part. They don't have to
just
voice
click.
And speak.
That's it.
Exactly. Just click that.
Just click. Yeah.
Lost but not forgotten. Where can they find you?
Lost but not forgotten. I am on Facebook at Lost but not forgotten. Also on Instagram, Lost but not forgotten 2016. And look us up. It's a place for you to be yourself. No judgment zone. You are not gonna be judged. And we just ask for you to respect each other. And with that, we could go a long way.
Definitely.
Yeah.
and we will have the link for Lost But Not Forgotten along with some information about Grace. And I every time I say Grace, I want to put an E on the end.
Gracie.
Gracie, I always call you Gracie in my mind. That's what you are. But we will have information about Grace, about Lost But Not Forgotten on our podcast site, amydommett.com/podcast. And you can click through, and once this episode is up and running and live, we will also have links to where you can listen to it.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up today?
Yes, the most important thing, one of the most important things, is for you to be true to yourself. Because people will tell you this and that, go left, forward, backward, but you have to be true to yourself. Because you have to be you. If you're not you, who are you going to be? And believe in yourself. No matter, I don't care what anybody tells you, believe in yourself. Or fake it till you make it. Believe.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for taking time out of your day.
Thank you for having me. I love it. You know, I love talking about me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Have a great one. We'll see you around.
Yes, definitely will.